So it's been a couple days, I guess probably a week or so since I recorded last, so I might repeat myself a little bit, but this will be at the beginning of a video, and whatever I recorded last was at the end. And people probably don't make it to the end of a 20-minute video of me showing pieces of paper on a table. We just finished up the last of 3 operating rounds and are heading into a stock round. This guy had to pretty much sell everything to buy his 8 train. And he has a really crappy railroad. Up here, White's doing really well. His roads aren't making a terrible amount of money, but with W and A being in the yellow here, he's able to hold these. So he's going to be able to own some more stock here. This guy kind of stupidly bought 2 cogs, or bought a second I should say, but he has no reason to sell these. It's as low as it can get, so he's not going to lower that guy's value. It has a permanent train. He's holding on for dear life right now. He's trying to find something that's going to increase the stock round, which unfortunately is going to put more money in the bank. Otherwise, we might be pretty close with 3 operating rounds coming up, but there's probably 2 more times through this that will last. Everyone's going to get kind of fleshed out here. GA is kicking butt, but its road isn't super, but it's going to get a lot better next round, because he's going to connect into... It took a really long time for this road to get built. And also, next operating round, ACL is going to be able to open up out of their little pocket down here. Instead of building up, they maybe should have come down here, but they needed the quick profits. Just got shut out there. So there's the board in general. I think I'm going to make the prediction. I mean, these guys are all... those 2 are doing pretty well in the stock. They're greater than these ones. So he's just going to keep paying out, and that's going to keep going up. So he's doing okay. I think he's going to be our big winner. Down here, he's doing okay. He's bringing in a decent amount of money. These guys are bringing a ton between their 1 railroad each, but I just don't think it's going to be quite enough. We are in the set of operating rounds after the last stock round that I showed, and not a terrible amount happened, except everything got bought up. With these 2 being down here, people were able to buy a bunch of stuff up, but everyone's at their holding limit, or ended at their holding limit, except this guy, but he didn't have enough money to snatch up that ACL, so everything went up. We're through 2 of the stock operating rounds, starting the 3rd one, and we're going to run out of money during this one. There's no way around it. This ended up in here after the last operating round. It bumped up. He had to sell down to get it back in there, but he made $60 off of a share that he paid 40 for, and rode it for 5 rounds, making around $30 a share per round. So he did all right. Here's the money situation. He's got a decent stack over here. Pretty much got back everything he paid for. However, not doing great on stocks. Over here, Orange probably has the most money right now. Has a decent portfolio with Sal, but that's going to be overshadowed. He has almost as much money in between GA and ACL stock prices. I think he's going to nudge it out. This guy, he's probably in... he's in better shape than this guy. I think this guy's going to come in number 4, probably number 3 right here. Again, doing okay money-wise, doing okay stock-wise between G and F and GA, but I don't think it's going to be quite enough. I think GA might be the difference. He's holding 4, everyone else, or these 2 guys, he has 3 and he has 3. So we'll play it out and see how it ends up. This GA is going to move up one more, everything's going to increase. He'll have to sell down again. He has 4. Well, this one won't count. 3. Yeah, so I think I'll have to sell at least 1 to get down. Well, yeah, because it'll go up and then he sells and it's back in yellow. So we'll come back at the end. I'll probably come back and tally and see what the scores are. That's there to remind him that that's what he wants to put in here. That'll get him another $30 for his operating. Oh, I put this here so I talk about it. I just finished this book, and I might actually sit down and talk about it. Nothing Like It in the World. It's about the building of, and this says it's specifically about the men who built the Transcontinental Railroad, which it is mostly about them. Pretty well written. I really, really enjoyed it. It played right into my rail kick. So I wanted to highlight it, even though it's a lot after when this game is supposed to be taking place. Obviously in a completely different part of the world, but rails nonetheless. The bank has broken, and I was expecting it to happen on the GNF. We got all the way through WRA to pay out yellow up here. We were too short. However, because he paid out, pushed this up, which put him over the limit. So we were $62 short to get through the operating round. Pretty tight. So white has an extra 60, yellow has an extra 2. We'll sum it up and come back with the result. I don't know. I think it's going to be a white. He's got a stack of cheese over here, though. We'll see. Cash on hand. This was unexpected, and it wasn't all from the last round. Must need some sugar. Orange didn't have the cash advantage. White did, so I think that's pretty much going to sum it up. But I'll come back and show the totals after everything. Red was hurting for money, so it was red, yellow. So cash on hand was red, yellow, orange down here, and then white. So we'll come back with the total. I think it's pretty foregone. Somebody with that much stock that's doing pretty well, but let's look at the totals. And it shook out in exactly the same order. White with the GA ACL Powerhouse was too powerful to overcome. Won by $430 or so. Here's the board at the end. Made these important connections. ACL didn't play very well. He probably could have been farther ahead if he had come this way earlier, I think. Really got shut out here. Definitely like how it played out. The company seemed to be strapped for cash, but maybe that's just how I played. Kind of played for the short game. I guess actually played for the long game. They didn't withhold very much. We still have 3 8 trains in there. Only the companies that had to buy an 8 train did. And I thought that might come back and bite these companies, but they actually did okay on it. Maybe Sal should have been more aggressive. But still, I mean, they got tapped out money-wise. And with only one more token to place, I don't know that they could have done too much damage to anybody else, especially with Atlanta being open. Definitely very, very enjoyable. Maybe I'll even go back and talk about it. 18GA. Just to finish up the play. Of course I really enjoyed it. And it's exactly what I was looking for. Even solitaire, it was very, very engaging. My table's right here, so I keep looking at it, even though it's mostly torn down. So this is a series that a friend of mine wanted to get into when we started gaming together, and it wasn't really anything that I was interested in at the time. I was playing things like, I don't know, Puerto Rico, Ticket to Ride, a lot of the kind of entry-level Euro type stuff. And he had been playing those games for years, and I was pretty new to it, and just the look of 18xx games was very intimidating to me. And so I kind of put it off. We started playing war games together, and that was a similar situation for me. I didn't really have any desire to play war games. He had a closet full of them and no one to play with them with. So we sat down and started playing war games, and it really kind of sent me down the rabbit hole. With 18xx games, it was 1856, which I still haven't played, but I was in a used bookstore in their Canadian geography or Canadian history section. They had a copy of 1856 for like $18. So I said, oh, and I was buying pretty much every game I came across at the time. So I picked it up, which made me somehow more open to playing them. So about a year and a half ago, March of 2012, I put together 18AL and 18GA at the time. Put them both together from Mark Derrick's, or John Galt, I guess John Galt's graphics package, and we played it. We played 18AL, and we played it for, I guess, about 6 hours. It was all 3 new people playing, and we all really fell in love with the game. Since then, I've played it on the Java application of Rails a couple times, and then about a month ago we played 18AL again with 5 people, the full boat, with the same 3 guys and then 2 new people, and it lasted about 4 hours like it should. I guess it might even be a little bit long, but it really put me back in that mode of wanting to play this. So I'm playing AL on Rails again. Busted out GA hit here. I still have 1856, I haven't played it yet. And I built a copy of 1889 and then gave Callendale one also. So the system itself, I guess it's a lot of rules, but it really, when you're playing it, it doesn't seem like it. Everything you're doing makes sense. And that's part of my issue with a couple war games that I've been playing, is there are rules that you have to follow for the game to work, but they don't make sense with what you're trying to do. Everything you're doing ties into what you're doing. And it's so evocative of that robber baron mentality, while still having that gaminess to it that I actually like. I don't always care for a lot of gaminess, but in here it's financial, so you are trying to manipulate, you are trying to get the upper hand in the game and in life. You're trying to do that, or not you or me, but people do that, and it just feels right. I actually, on the 18xx forums on Board Game Geek, I don't even know if it was that, but JC Lawrence, I think, Clearclaw, talks a lot about 18xx games, and he seems to be very good at them, and he'll watch a play-by forum kick off, and at the end, and I don't think he predicts it, but he says, oh, I already know who's going to win at the end of the privates auction. He mentioned something about how videos show substandard play or sub-efficient play, which is probably the case here, honestly. This is probably my 4th or 5th time playing one of these games. All I've played are the intro-level games. So this isn't a teaching exercise. This is me exploring the game. And if you want to join me, you can join me. And then I'll sit down and talk about it. And maybe that spawns you to want to play it, or cements you in knowing that you don't want to. But as a system, it's something that I'll definitely be exploring more and trying to get a group together more than once a year to play, because I don't know, it's not a war game, obviously, but the confrontation, the conflict in the game is engaging in the same way, but it also brings in that economics and that mathiness of Euro games. And my phone's ringing, so I better go.